Marcus Taylor drives home from his construction job, tired after another long day. His 8-year-old daughter is waiting at the babysitter's, and he's already late. Then he sees smoke rising from a house on Oak Street. Without thinking, he pulls over and runs toward the building. Inside, he finds a woman trapped upstairs. She says her name is Alex, and she needs help. Marcus gets her out just before the roof caves in. He doesn't know that Alex is really Alexandra Blackwood, one of the richest women in America. She's been living a simple life, trying to escape her family's control. Now, looking at the man who just saved her, she wonders if she's finally found what she's been searching for. Before we jump back in, tell us where you're tuning in from. And if this story touches you, make sure you're subscribed, because tomorrow I've saved something extra special for you. The morning sun leaked through Marcus's worn curtains, highlighting the bandages on his hands. He winced as he reached for his phone. 3 missed calls from his boss, and a text from Mrs. Rodriguez reminding him about Lily's lunch money. His daughter's footsteps padded down the hallway before he could process either. "Daddy, look what I made!" Lily burst in, clutching a crayon drawing. She'd drawn him in a red cape, flames surrounding a stick figure that must have been him. The word hero arched across the top in wobbly letters. "That's beautiful, sweetheart." He tried to sit up without showing pain. The smoke inhalation had left his throat raw, and the minor burns stung. But he'd been lucky. The woman he'd pulled from the fire, Alex, had been luckier still. "Can I take it to school? Jenny says her dad was on TV talking about you." Lily bounced on the bed's edge, her dark curls wild from sleep. Marcus groaned inwardly. He'd avoided watching the news, but apparently the local stations had picked up the story. A construction worker pulling someone from a burning building made for good headlines, he supposed. "Sure, baby, but first we need to get you ready for school." He glanced at the clock, already running late. Again. In the kitchen, he fumbled one-handed with the coffee maker, while Lily chattered about her upcoming science project. The burns made every movement a careful calculation. A plain envelope caught his eye, stuck halfway under their apartment door. "Lily, grab your backpack while I check something." Inside the envelope, he found 5 crisp $100 bills and a handwritten note. "For medical expenses and missed work, thank you isn't enough. A." Marcus stared at the money. Pride warred. With practicality. His savings were almost gone after last month's emergency car repairs, and he'd already missed 2 days of work. The babysitter fees alone. "Daddy, are you okay?" He quickly tucked the envelope into his pocket. "Just fine, princess. Let's get you to school." Mrs. Rodriguez was waiting outside her daycare center when they pulled up. Her usual warm smile carried an extra measure of pride today. "Mi héroe, how are you feeling?" "I'm fine, Mrs. R. Just a little sore. Listen, about yesterday's late pickup." She waved him off. "No charge for yesterday, or today. You take care of those hands." She turned to Lily, already switching to her teacher voice. "Come on, Mijita, let's show everyone your beautiful drawing." Driving to the construction site, Marcus's mind kept returning to the mysterious envelope. The handwriting had been elegant, inconfident, like Alex herself had seemed in those brief moments before the smoke separated them. He remembered her calm voice guiding him through the burning hallway, how she'd seemed more worried about him than herself, even as flames licked at the walls. The site foreman, Mike, was waiting at the gate. "Taylor, thought I told you to take the week off." "Can't afford it, boss. I can still supervise the concrete pour." Mike's weathered face creased with concern. "You're trending on Twitter, you know. Hot construction hero. That's what they're calling you." Marcus felt his face heat. "Great. Just what I need. Channel 7 wants an interview. Could be good publicity for the company." "Mike, paid interview, Marcus. Could help with those medical bills I know you're pretending not to worry about." Before Marcus could respond, his phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it until he saw the text preview. "This is Alex. Can we talk?" He stared at the screen, heart suddenly racing faster than it had in the fire. She'd found him, and now he had to decide what to do about it. middle school art teacher. One fire, one moment of terror, and she'd risked it all. In her modest apartment's bathroom, she wiped steam from the mirror. The woman who stared back wasn't the polished heiress from Forbes's 30 Under 30 cover. Her natural brown hair had replaced the signature Blackwood blonde. No designer clothes, no family diamonds. Just Alex, who graded papers and lived paycheck to paycheck. She pulled out her backup ID from behind the bathroom tile, her escape. Kit, passport, driver's license, credit cards, all under Alexandra Martinez. The work had cost a fortune, but they'd withstood every test. Even the fingerprints were altered, though that procedure she preferred not to remember. Breaking news. Mystery woman in Oak Street fire, still unidentified, scrolled across her laptop screen. At least the smoke had obscured her face in the grainy footage. But Marcus, they'd gotten clear shots of him, handsome, heroic, and far too visible for her comfort. Her phone buzzed. Marcus, coffee? There's a place called Joe's on 4th. I owe you a thank you for the envelope. Alexandra's hand shook. She should say no, should move to another city, start over again. That's what the protocol demanded. Any hint of exposure meant immediate relocation. But something about his steady hands guiding her through the smoke, his voice cutting through her panic. She found herself typing, "Noon, and you don't owe me anything." The Blackwood family empire loomed in her mind. 50 years of carefully arranged marriages and strategic acquisitions. Her father's voice, "Family is everything, Alexandra. The legacy must be protected." She'd watched her older sister crack under the pressure, now a hollow-eyed corporate puppet. Her brother had escaped to a monastery in Tibet, and she'd chosen this. The burner phone hidden in her dresser blinked, her only connection to the outside, to her real life. One message from her most trusted ally. "They're getting closer. Board meeting next week. Your absence is noticed." Alexandra switched on the TV, forcing herself to watch the coverage. Marcus was declining interviews, protecting his privacy. Smart man. In the background of one shot, a little girl clutched his hand. His daughter, the one he'd been rushing home to when he'd stopped to save her. Her fingers found the small scar on her wrist, where she'd had the family crest tattoo removed. The ultimate rebellion in her father's eyes, erasing the mark of belonging. But watching Marcus on screen, seeing how he held his daughter's hand, maybe belonging didn't have to mean ownership. She changed clothes 3 times before settling on simple jeans and a sweater. Teacher clothes. Alex clothes. The diamond studs she'd kept as emergency funds stayed in their hiding place. Today wasn't about Alexandra Blackwood, but as she grabbed her keys, her father's words echoed, "You can't escape who you are." She caught her reflection in the window. The careful disguise, the practiced mannerisms of a different social class. Was any of it real? And what would Marcus think if he knew? The coffee shop was 4 blocks away. She walked, despite her security training, screaming about exposed sightlines and predictable patterns. Today, she decided, she would just be a woman, going to meet a man for coffee, a man who had saved her life without asking who she was or what she was worth. Her phone buzzed again. Marcus, running a few minutes late, daughter's science project emergency, rain check? Alexandra smiled at the normalcy of it. The beautiful, ordinary chaos of real life. She texted back, "I'll wait. Some things are worth the time." And they were, she realized, even if this coffee led nowhere, even if she had to disappear tomorrow. For today, she could be just Alex, having coffee with just Marcus. The rest would sort itself out. Or so she hoped. Joe's coffee shop smelled of fresh grounds and cinnamon. Alexandra chose a corner table, back to the wall. Old habits died hard. The $2 coffee felt like a statement. Alex Martinez wouldn't order a $5 latte. She watched the door, counting exits until it swung open and time stopped. Marcus wasn't alone. The little girl from the news footage trailed behind him, clutching what looked like a papier-mâché volcano. "I'm so sorry," he started, juggling the volcano and his phone. "Babysitter cancelled, and this is due tomorrow, and—" "Daddy, it's still wobbly." The girl poked at the volcano's base. Alexandra found herself smiling. "I'm Alex. You must be the scientist." "I'm Lily." The girl beamed. "Do you know about volcanoes? Mrs. Rodriguez says mine needs more— What's the word, Daddy?" "Structural integrity," Marcus supplied, looking apologetic. "I actually taught middle school science before switching to art." The lie came easily now, though something in Marcus's genuine concern for his daughter made it taste bitter. Lily carefully transferred her project to the table. Alexandra examined it, noting the weak spots. "You know what would help? Coffee stirrers for internal support, like building scaffolding." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Like on a construction site." "Exactly." Their eyes met over Lily's head. The same steadiness she remembered from the fire, but softer now, warmer. "I'll get the stirrers." Lily bounced to the counter, where the barista was already grinning and reaching for the supply jar. "You're good with her," Marcus said quietly. "Thank you for understanding about all this." "Are you kidding? This is perfect." Alexandra surprised herself by meaning it. "Though I did want to talk about the envelope. I can't accept that much money. You missed work because of me. I run into burning buildings for all my first dates." His eyes crinkled when he smiled, then widened as he realized what he'd said. "I mean, not that this is— Daddy, look!" Lily returned triumphant with a handful of stirrers. "Can we fix it now?" For the next hour, they rebuilt the volcano. Alexandra showed Lily how to create a stable base, while Marcus offered real-world construction insights. The coffee grew cold, forgotten. "You're sure the baking soda won't leak?" Lily asked, examining their handiwork. "Promise." "I had the worst volcano incident in 4th grade, learned all the tricks the hard way." Marcus checked his watch. "We should go. Lily has homework, and I'm sure Alex has plans." Actually, Alexandra hesitated. This was the moment to pull back to protect her cover. Instead, she heard herself say, "I make a mean spaghetti and meatballs, if you're interested." "Can we, Daddy? Please?" Lily bounced in her chair. "My volcano's not even exploding on anyone now." Marcus studied Alexandra for a long moment. "You really don't have to." "I want to." The surprise was realizing how true it was. "Okay, but I'm bringing dessert. Fair's fair." They gathered their things, Marcus insisting on leaving a tip that made Alexandra's heart ache. She knew what construction workers made, knew he couldn't afford generosity. But that was Alexandra Blackwood's knowledge. Alex Martinez just smiled and held the door. Outside, Lily spotted a dog and darted ahead to ask its owner if she could pet it. Marcus touched Alexandra's arm. "Hey, about the envelope. Keep it, please. Consider it a thank you for—" She gestured at the volcano. "All of this." "All of what?" "A normal afternoon. Those are rare for me." Something in her voice made him look closer. She felt exposed, seen in a way that terrified and thrilled her. But before he could respond, Lily called out, "Daddy, Alex, this is Princess, and she's the prettiest dog ever, and her owner lives in our building." "Small world," Marcus murmured. Alexandra watched them walk ahead, Lily chattering about Princess, while Marcus nodded seriously at each detail. A father and daughter heading home on a sunny afternoon. Simple. Real. Everything she'd been looking for when she ran. Her phone buzzed. The burner phone. She ignored it. Tomorrow she could worry about the Blackwood Empire and false identities. Tonight there would be spaghetti and a volcano demonstration, and maybe, just maybe, the start of something true, even if she was building it on lies. The construction site hummed with activity under the midday sun. Alexandra balanced 2 takeout bags as she navigated past concrete barriers, her heart racing more than she'd like to admit. A week of daily texts and 2 family dinners had led to this, bringing Marcus lunch at work. "Hard hat area," a voice called out. Mike, the foreman she recognized from Marcus's stories, approached with an extra helmet. "You must be Alex. Man won't shut up about you. All good things, I hope." She accepted the helmet, adjusting it carefully to protect her identity rather than her head. "Mostly about your cooking." though after living on microwave burritos, anything hot would seem gourmet. Mike grinned. He's up top, doing inspections. Want me to radio him? Actually, Alexandra studied the blueprints pinned to the site office wall. Is that a load-bearing miscalculation on the east wing? Mike's eyebrows shot up. You know construction. Years of reviewing development proposals for Blackwood properties flashed through her mind. I pick things up quickly. Alex, Marcus's voice carried from above. He made his way down the scaffolding with practiced ease, but she caught the slight stiffness in his movements, the burns still healing. Brought lunch, she held up the bags. Thai food. You're amazing. He caught himself glancing at Mike. The food is amazing. Mike chuckled. Take your break, Taylor. I'll have engineering double-check that east wing calculation. Your girlfriend spotted. They found a quiet spot away from the main activity, sharing curry and noodles on an upturned concrete block. Alexandra watched Marcus check his phone every few minutes. Lily okay? Yeah, just my in-laws are pushing for more visitation. Sarah's parents, he explained. They mean well, but since she passed, tell me about her. Alexandra surprised herself by asking, if you want to. Marcus was quiet for a moment, poking at his pad thai. She was a kindergarten teacher. That's how we met. Lily was in her class. Single dad, parent-teacher conference. Sounds like a movie, right? His smile held both warmth and pain. Cancer, fast and brutal. Lily was 6. Alexandra reached for his hand before she could stop herself. His fingers were calloused, real. In a way, her old life never was. The thing is, he continued, she made me promise to keep living. Not just existing for Lily, but really living. I didn't understand until I ran into that fire. First time I felt alive in years. He met her eyes. Weird, right? Not weird at all. She thought of her own escape, the terror and exhilaration of choosing her path. A comfortable silence fell. Around them, the site pulsed with activity. Cement trucks backing up, welders sparking overhead, the steady rhythm of progress. Your turn, Marcus said finally. Tell me something real. Alexandra's chest tightened. Real? Yeah. Something not in your teacher bio, something that scares you. She looked at him. This man who saved her without question, who built things with his hands, who was offering trust she hadn't earned. The truth rose like smoke. I'm running from something, she admitted. Not anything dangerous, she added. Quickly, seeing his concern. Just expectations. A life others chose for me. And teaching art? That was your choice? Creating something new, something mine. Not entirely a lie. But sometimes I worry I'll never outrun who I was. Marcus squeezed her hand. Maybe you don't have to. Maybe who you were is part of who you're becoming. The wisdom in his words struck her like physical pain. Before she could respond, his radio crackled. Taylor, got a situation with the cement. Poor. Go, she smiled. Be a hero. He gathered their trash, hesitated, then kissed her cheek quickly. Dinner tonight. Lily's been begging for your spaghetti. I'll be there. She watched him jog back to the site, efficient and confident in his element. The blueprints caught her eye again. She really should tell them about the support beam calculations, but that would raise questions about her expertise, questions she couldn't answer without unraveling everything. The newspaper's headline glared from every corner newsstand. Blackwood heiress still missing, family offers $2 million reward. Alexandra hurried past, tugging her cap lower. Her burner phone had exploded with warnings from her contact. Board meetings, no private investigators, her father's increasing desperation. Across town, Marcus sat in his lawyer's office staring at custody papers. Sarah's parents weren't backing down. They're citing your work schedule, Marcus, his lawyer explained. The late hours, the physical risks, and now this fire incident. I saved someone's life, which they're painting as reckless endangerment, a single father running into burning buildings. The lawyer sighed. They're worried about Lily's stability. Marcus thought of Lily's drawings covering their fridge, her volcano project proudly displayed on the bookshelf, her laughter when Alex helped with homework. She's never been more stable. About that, the lawyer shuffled papers. Your relationship with this Alex Martinez, how serious is it? What does that have to do with anything? A new partner could help demonstrate family stability, or, the lawyer hesitated, if she has any skeletons in her closet, it could hurt your case. Marcus's phone buzzed. Alex, asking about dinner plans. His thumb hovered over the screen. The lawyer was right. He needed to know more about her, but the thought of investigating her, treating her like a potential threat. Meanwhile, Alexandra paced her apartment, watching a live stream of the Blackwood Enterprises quarterly meeting. Her father looked older, the strain showing around his eyes as he addressed shareholders. Rest assured, our CFO's temporary absence will not affect operations, he was saying. The lies came so easily to him. Alexandra is handling sensitive international acquisitions that require her full attention. Her laptop pinged, an alert. From her banking algorithm, they were tracing wire transfers, getting closer to her false identity's paper trail. She needed to move funds again, clean up her digital footprint. But that would mean accessing accounts that could reveal her location. The doorbell rang. Alexandra froze. Alex, it's Marcus, I brought lunch. She checked the security camera she'd installed. Just Marcus, holding takeout bags. No surveillance, no private investigators. Not yet. Coming! She quickly closed the laptop, silenced the burner phone. He looked troubled when she opened the door. Everything okay? You missed our coffee meet-up. Sorry, parent-teacher conferences ran late. The lie tasted bitter now. Is that Chinese? Peace offering. He managed a smile, but she could see the tension in his shoulders. Though honestly, I could use some peace myself today. They settled on her small couch, unpacking containers. Alexandra noticed his hands shaking slightly. Marcus, what's wrong? He set down his chopsticks. Sarah's parents are filing for custody. What? They can't. They can try. He rubbed his face. My lawyer thinks I need to be careful about new relationships, about who I let into Lily's life. The words hung between them. Alexandra felt the walls closing in, her carefully constructed world colliding with his very real problems. Are you asking me something? I don't know. He met her eyes. Are there things I should know about you? Yes, she wanted to scream. I'm living a lie. I'm putting you and Lily at risk just by being here. I'm falling in love with you, and I don't even know if Alex Martinez is real anymore. Instead, she said, my past is complicated. Isn't everyone's? His hand found hers. I just need to know you won't disappear on us. On Lily, her burner phone buzzed in the bedroom. The newsstand headlines flashed in her mind. $2 million for information leading to her whereabouts. How long before someone recognized her? I would never want to hurt Lily, she whispered. At least that was true. Marcus pulled her close, and she let herself sink into his embrace. For a moment, she could pretend they were just two people sharing lunch and comfort. No custody battles, no corporate empires, no lies threatening to tear it all apart. But the truth was coming for them both, and she wasn't sure love would be enough to survive it. The city park glowed with autumn colors, leaves drifting onto the weathered wooden bench where Alexandra sat waiting. Their bench, she'd started thinking of it, where they'd brought Lily to feed ducks last weekend, where Marcus had first held her hand without pretense or apology. Sorry I'm late. Marcus appeared, slightly out of breath. Lily's science fair project is officially done, and Mrs. Rodriguez promised no volcanic eruptions while we're out. You didn't have to rush. She made room on the bench. How did the custody meeting go? My lawyer thinks we have a strong case. Lily's grades are up. She's making friends. He smiled. She got an A on that volcano, by the way. Teacher said the structural support system was innovative. Alexandra felt warmth spread through her chest. Such a small thing, helping a child. With homework. In her old life, success was measured in mergers and acquisitions. "I have something for you," Marcus said, pulling out a small paper bag. "It's not much, but—" Inside was a coffee shop receipt, framed in simple wood. Their first coffee date, complete with coffee stains, and Lily's crayon doodle in the corner. "You kept this?" "First time I saw you really smile." He looked embarrassed. "Too cheesy?" She touched the glass gently. In her other life, men had given her diamonds, cars, even a small island once. None had ever given her a memory. "It's perfect." She kissed him, soft and quick, before her emotions could overwhelm her. They walked through the park as evening settled in, talking about everything and nothing. Marcus described his latest construction project, a community center he was particularly proud of. Alexandra found herself sharing edited versions of her own experience, careful to frame her knowledge of architecture and finance as casual interest rather than expertise. "The sunset's beautiful tonight," she said, desperate to change the subject, before she slipped up again. "Yeah," but Marcus wasn't looking at the sky. "Alex, what are we doing? Walking in the park?" She tried for lightness. "You know what I mean." He stopped, turning to face her. "These past few weeks, I haven't felt this way since Sarah, and it scares me. Because of the custody case? Because I'm falling for you. And there's still so much I don't know." Alexandra's heart raced. This was her chance to come clean, to trust him with her truth. The words rose in her throat. "I'm not who you think I am," she whispered. "None of us are." He touched her cheek. "We're all running from something, carrying something. I just need to know if you're running towards something too, toward us." A jogger passed, and Alexandra instinctively turned away, hiding her face. The gesture wasn't lost on Marcus. "See? Like that. The way you always watch exits, check for followers. The things you know that art teachers shouldn't know." His voice stayed gentle. "I'm not asking for your secrets. I'm just asking if they're dangerous." "Not dangerous," she said quickly. "Just complicated. I can do complicated." He took her hand. "I'm a single dad who runs into burning buildings, remember?" She laughed, despite herself. "How could I forget?" They reached a small bridge overlooking the duck pond. The last rays of sunlight painted the water gold, and somewhere a street musician played saxophone jazz. It felt like a scene from someone else's life, someone who could have this kind of perfect moment without fear. "Dance with me?" Marcus asked. "Here? Now? Why not?" He pulled her close, swaying to the distant music. No one's watching. But people were always watching. Her. Father's investigators, Sarah's parents' lawyers, the media still curious about the mystery woman from the fire. She should pull away, make an excuse, start planning her next disappearance. Instead, she rested her head on his shoulder and let herself dance. "I meant what I said," she murmured. "I would never put you or Lily in danger." "I know." His arms tightened around her. "Whatever you're carrying, whatever you're running from, we'll figure it out. Together." The music faded, but they kept swaying. Alexandra closed her eyes, memorizing everything about this moment. His heartbeat under her cheek, the rustle of leaves, the way he smelled of coffee and sawdust and safety. Her burner phone stayed silent in her pocket, but she knew what waited. More warnings, more close calls, her carefully constructed world getting smaller every day. Soon she would have to choose. Her old life, or this new one she was building with every shared smile and simple touch. But for now, on this bridge, with this man, she let herself believe in the possibility of both. Alexandra was grading papers when her phone lit up with Marcus's call. Her heart stopped at his breathless voice. "Lily fell at school. They're taking her to Metro General. I'm stuck at a site inspection across town. I'm on my way." She was already grabbing her keys, teacher identity badge bouncing against her chest. The hospital bustled with controlled chaos. Alexandra strode to the desk, years of boardroom authority slipping into her voice. "Lily Taylor. She was just brought in from Franklin Elementary. Are you family?" The nurse eyed her skeptically. "I'm her—" Alexandra faltered. What was she? Father's girlfriend? Teacher friend? "Call Marcus Taylor, her father. He'll confirm." "She's with me," a sharp voice cut in. An elegant older woman approached, expression tight. "I'm Barbara Cooper, Lily's grandmother, and you are?" Alexandra recognized her from the custody paperwork photos. Sarah's mother. "Perfect. Alex Martinez. I'm a friend of Marcus's." "Yes, we've heard." Barbara's tone could have frozen water. "Though I'm surprised he'd send his friend instead of coming himself. He's on his way. Traffic." "Of course." Barbara turned to the nurse. "We'll need Lily's complete file. And I want to speak to the attending physician about her previous respiratory issues." Alexandra's mind raced. Respiratory issues. She'd seen Lily's inhaler, heard Marcus mention allergies. But there had to be more. "Has her asthma been acting up?" she asked carefully. Barbara's eyes narrowed. "You know about her condition?" "Marcus mentioned it, and I've seen her use her rescue inhaler." "True, if not complete." "Room 204, the nurse interrupted. "She's asking for her dad." They found Lily in a pediatric exam room, her arm already wrapped and elevated. Her face lit up at seeing Alexandra. "Alex, did you see? I have a blue cast, like the sky in your paintings." Very artistic. Alexandra moved to the bed, medical knowledge from 1,000 charity hospital board meetings kicking in. "How's the pain, sweetie? Scale of 1 to 10. 3, maybe 2.5. Lily's brave face wobbled. "Is Daddy coming?" "He'll be here soon." Alexandra squeezed her good hand. "Want to tell me what happened?" "I was showing Jenny my gymnastics move, the one from YouTube." Lily's eyes went wide. "Don't tell Daddy about the YouTube part." Despite herself, Barbara smiled. "Just like your mother. She broke her arm trying to copy Olympic routines." "Did she?" Lily perked up. "What else did she do?" As Barbara shared stories, Alexandra did a subtle assessment. Lily's color was good, breathing normal. The cast was properly set. But something about Barbara's earlier comment. "Mrs. Cooper?" she interrupted gently. "You mentioned previous respiratory issues. Has Lily had breathing problems with pain medication before?" Barbara stared at her. "How did you—" "Alex!" Marcus burst in, still in his work clothes. "Lily, baby, are you okay?" "Daddy, look at my cast. Alex helped them make it blue." Marcus hugged Lily carefully, then turned to Alexandra with naked gratitude. "Thank you for getting here so fast." "Marcus." Barbara's voice could have cut glass. "A word?" They stepped into the hall. Alexandra helped Lily color her cast with markers the nurse brought, but she could hear the rising voices outside. "Can't just send strangers to make medical decisions." "Alex isn't a stranger, she's—" "What? What is she, Marcus? Do you even know?" Alexandra's hand shook as she drew a butterfly on Lily's cast. Through the window she saw Barbara hand Marcus papers, printouts of some kind. His face changed as he read. "Lily—" Alexandra kept her voice steady. "I need to talk to your dad for a minute. Okay?" In the hallway, Marcus held up the papers. Security photos from her old life. Alexandra Blackwood at charity galas, board meetings, her father's yacht. "Care to explain?" His voice was very quiet. Before she could answer, the doctor arrived with Lily's discharge papers, and there, under allergies, she saw it. Severe reaction to codeine-based medications. "Wait!" Alexandra grabbed the prescription pad. "She can't have this pain medication. She needs—" She rattled off the alternative prescription, complete with dosage calculations. The doctor looked impressed. Barbara looked triumphant. And Marcus looked devastated. "How do you know that?" he whispered. Alexandra stared at the hospital bracelet on Lily's wrist. Such a small thing, to bring her careful lies crashing down. "Because I'm on the board of 3 hospitals," she said finally. "Because my family foundation funds pediatric research. Because I'm not who I said I was." "Clearly," his voice hardened. "The question is, who are you?" The hospital's fluorescent lights cast harsh shadows as Marcus stared at the magazine Barbara had thrust into his hands. On the cover, Alexandra Blackwood stood in an elegant black dress, the headline reading, "America's Youngest Fortune 500 CFO Takes Control." The photo was from 2 years ago, but the face was unmistakably Alex's. Not here, Alexandra said quietly. Please, Lily shouldn't see this. Marcus glanced back at their daughter, his daughter, who was proudly showing her blue cast to a nurse. When he turned back, his eyes were full of questions she wasn't ready to answer. Mrs. Cooper, could you stay with Lily while we handle the discharge paperwork? Barbara's triumphant look made Alexandra's stomach turn. Of course. I'll make sure. She's taken care of properly. They found an empty waiting room at the end of the hall. Marcus placed the magazine on a table between them, like evidence at a trial. Everything was a lie. His voice cracked. Your job, your apartment, your life. Not everything. Alexandra reached for him, then let her hand fall. How I feel about you and Lily, that's real. More real than anything in my old life. Your old life as a billionaire? He laughed without humor. God, I bought you coffee. I let you pay for takeout with crumpled bills when you probably have offshore accounts. Marcus. No. He stood, pacing. You don't get to Marcus me. Not until you explain. All of it. She took a deep breath. My name is Alexandra Blackwood. My father runs Blackwood Enterprises. 8 months ago, I was supposed to marry the heir to our biggest competitor. A merger of families, not hearts. She smiled bitterly. I ran instead, and became an art teacher. I became myself, for the first time. She gestured at the magazine. That woman? She was a puppet, every decision, every move choreographed. By my father. Even my hair color was chosen by the board for brand consistency. Marcus sat heavily. The fire. You were hiding there, renting under my new name. When the electrical system failed, she shuddered. You saved my life that day, in more ways than one. By letting you lie to me, by showing me what real life could be. She leaned forward. Do you know what I love most about being with you and Lily? The small things. Making spaghetti, helping with homework, sitting on that park bench without photographers or security guards. But you kept watching for them, he remembered, always checking over your shoulder. My father, he doesn't handle defiance well. The reward for finding me increases every month. Marcus picked up the magazine, studying the photo. $2 million now. Yes, your money could help with Lily's custody case. Alexandra felt like she'd been slapped. Is that what you want? To use my family's influence? No! He threw the magazine down. I want the woman who helped my daughter build a volcano, who knows her medication allergies and brings lunch to my job, and he broke off. I want Alex. Alex is who I really am. She touched the magazine's glossy surface. Alexandra Blackwood was the lie. Then why didn't you trust me with the truth? Because I've never had anyone love me for myself before. The words tumbled out. Not my money, not my name, just me. And once I found that with you, I was terrified to lose it. Silence stretched between them, broken only by distant hospital sounds. What happens now? Marcus finally asked. Your father won't stop looking. No. And Sarah's parents will use this in the custody case. Probably. He met her eyes. Are you going to run again? The question hung in the air like smoke from another fire. Before she could answer, her phone buzzed. The burner phone she'd forgotten in her rush to the hospital. The message made her blood freeze. They found me. Marcus was at her side instantly. How? The hospital. My medical knowledge. Someone. Must have. She laughed shakily. I finally act like myself, and it exposes everything. How long do we have? We? She stared at him. You really think I'm letting you face this alone? He took her hands. You lied about your name, your past, but I watched you run into a hospital for my daughter without hesitation. I've seen how you light up teaching kids about art. That's not fake. Marcus, my father's lawyers, will meet my lawyer. His jaw set. I don't care about your money, but I care about you, the real you. From down the hall came the sound of running feet, urgent voices. Time was up. Alexandra squeezed his hands once, then let go. I need to face them. But first, she walked to Lily's room, Marcus close behind. One last moment of the life she'd chosen, before her old life came crashing back in. Alexandra sat in her father's penthouse office, surrounded by the trappings of her old life. Designer clothes had replaced her teacher's casual wear. Her hair was freshly dyed back to Blackwood blonde. But the letter she was writing belonged to Alex Martinez. Dear Lily, I'm sorry I couldn't say goodbye properly at the hospital. I want you to know that helping with your volcano was one of the best afternoons of my life. She crumpled the paper, adding it to the growing pile. How do you explain to an 8-year-old that sometimes adults have to leave to protect the people they love? The TV droned in the background. Blackwood heiress found, inside the double life of Alexandra Blackwood. Images flashed. Her teaching art, having coffee with Marcus, the burning house on Oak Street. Turn it off, she snapped at her. Security detail. The press conference is in an hour, her father's assistant reminded her. Hair and makeup are waiting. Meanwhile, across town, Marcus stared at his phone. Dozens of missed calls from reporters, messages from other parents at Lily's school, a formal letter from Barbara Cooper's lawyers citing Alexandra's deception as evidence of his poor judgment. Daddy? Lily stood in his doorway, clutching her tablet. Alex is on TV. He quickly took the device. Hey, remember what we said about watching the news? But she looks different. Her hair's all wrong. Lily's lower lip trembled. Is she coming back? Marcus pulled his daughter close, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo. It's complicated, sweetheart. That's what Grandma said. She said Alex lied to us. She did lie about some things, Marcus admitted, but not about caring for you. Back in the penthouse, Alexandra found another piece of paper. Dear Marcus, the money in your account isn't charity. It's what I owe Lily for giving me a glimpse of real family. Use it for her custody case. Use it to build her a better life. Just please don't use it to remember me as someone who only knew how to lie. Her phone buzzed. Her real phone now. The expensive one with her family's crest engraved on the case. A message from Marcus. Lily misses her art teacher, so do I. She started to reply, then stopped. Her father's words echoed, the media's under control, but one wrong move could tank our stock. The merger's still possible if we play this right. The letter sat unfinished as her PR team arrived with talking points. Stress the charitable aspects, frame it as research for community investment, minimize the personal relationship angles. Alexandra walked to the window. Somewhere out there a little girl was probably working on her next art project. A man was building something with his hands, real people living real lives. She picked up a fresh sheet of paper. Dear Marcus and Lily, some people are born into cages so golden they forget they're cages at all. You showed me what freedom tastes like, what family really means. Her father burst in. The press is ready. Remember, you were evaluating grassroots investment opportunities. Nothing about the construction worker or his child. Alexandra looked down at her half-written letter, at her perfectly manicured hands that had once helped build a volcano, at the TV still showing clips of her other life. She stood, straightening. Her designer suit. Their names are Marcus and Lily, and they're not a story you get to bury. Alexandra. No. Her voice held the steel of both Blackwood and Martinez. I won't lie about them, not again. She walked out, leaving the unfinished letters scattered like fallen leaves. On her tablet, headlines screamed about scandal and deception, but in her pocket she kept the coffee shop receipt Marcus had framed. Real memories. Real love. Sometimes the truth cost everything, but lies had already cost her more than she could bear to lose again. The Blackwood family ring gleamed on the conference table between them, 3 carats of flawless diamond, set in a platinum band that had graced 5 generations of Blackwood women. Alexandra's father pushed it toward her with one manicured finger. Your mother wore this when she merged the Stevens fortune with ours. Now it's your turn. I won't marry James Porter. Alexandra kept her hands firmly in her lap. The merger can happen without a wedding. Can it? Her father's smile never reached his eyes. The Porters are old-fashioned. They want guarantees, family bonds. They want control. She thought of Marcus building things with his hands, of real work and real value. Speaking of control, her father slid another document forward. Your friend's custody situation seems precarious. Alexandra's blood ran cold. Leave them out of this. I'm trying to help. One call from our legal team. No, she stood, years of boardroom training keeping her voice steady. You don't get to use them against me. Across town, Marcus faced his own inquisition. Barbara Cooper sat pristinely on his worn couch while her lawyer detailed their amended custody petition. Your association with a woman living under false pretenses demonstrates alarming lack of judgment, the lawyer droned. Combined with your dangerous heroics and irregular work hours. I saved someone's life, Marcus interrupted. And Alexandra, she was good to Lily. She was lying to Lily, Barbara snapped. To all of us. About her name, yes, her money, but not about caring. Oh, Marcus, Barbara softened slightly. I know you want to believe that, but people like Alexandra Blackwood, they don't live in our world. They play in it sometimes, slumming for thrills, but they always go back to their towers. Marcus thought of Alex bringing lunch to his construction site, of her genuine excitement over Lily's art projects. You're wrong about her. Am I? Barbara nodded to her lawyer, who produced a tabloid. The cover showed Alexandra at a charity gala, dazzling in diamonds, James Porter's proprietary hand on her back. The headline screamed, Blackwood Porter. Merger back on. Runaway heiress returns to family fold. Marcus's chest tightened. He reminded himself it was just press speculation, but his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Taylor? This is Charles Winston, Ms. Blackwood's private secretary. She asked me to ensure you received the wire transfer for your daughter's education fund. Marcus gripped the phone harder. Tell her to keep her money. Sir, Ms. Blackwood insisted. I said no. He ended the call, meeting Barbara's knowing look. See? They think they can buy anything. Or anyone. Back in the Blackwood offices, Alexandra paced her father's office. The family ring mocked her. From the table. The Porters expect an answer by tomorrow, her father pressed. Your little adventure is over. Time to be who you really are. That's just it. Alexandra touched the coffee shop receipt she still carried. I never knew who I really was until I stopped being a Blackwood. You finger-painted with children, he scoffed. Played house with a construction worker. I taught art. I helped build things. I loved. She stopped. Her father's eyes narrowed. Loved what? Him, his daughter, that life? All of it. She met his gaze. Because it was real. Real? He laughed harshly. Was it real when you lied about your identity? When you let them believe you were some struggling teacher? Face it, Alexandra. You're as much a fraud as the rest of us. The words hit home because they held truth. She had lied, had hidden, had played at being someone else. But she pulled out her phone, ignoring her father's protest, and dialed a number she'd memorized. Marcus, don't hang up, please. Silence. Then, Alex, I won't blame you if you hate me, but I need you to know something. She took a deep breath. I lied about being Alexandra Blackwood, but I never lied about being Alex. She's who I really am, who I want to be. Her father reached for the phone. She stepped back. The press conference, he hissed. The merger is my choice. She kept her eyes on the ring. 5 generations of Blackwood women doing what was expected. Time for a new legacy. Marcus, I can't undo my lies, but I can start telling the truth, starting with this. I love you, both of you, and I choose my real life. If you'll still have me. The silence stretched. Behind her, her father was calling security. The Porters would be furious. The merger would collapse. Finally, Marcus spoke. Lily has art class tomorrow. Her regular teacher just isn't the same. Alexandra smiled. Through tears, I might know someone who can help with that. The viral video exploded across social media within hours. Alexandra Blackwood, still in her designer suit from the scheduled press conference, walking into Franklin Elementary's art class. Parents' phones captured her kneeling to hug Lily, then standing to face Marcus. Their kiss was simple, real, and shared 10 million times before sunset. Blackwood heiress chooses love, trumpeted one headline. Wall Street, Princess and Blue-Collar King, declared another. Merger collapse costs billions, warned the financial papers. Marcus turned off his phone after the 100th media request. They're camping outside the school now. I'm so sorry. Alexandra helped Lily with her after-school snack, trying to maintain normalcy while their world exploded. I thought going back to teaching would show everyone this is real. Instead, we're trending. He managed a smile. Lily's classmate asked for her autograph. Jenny says I'm famous now. Lily looked up from her apple slices. Can I be on TV like Alex? No, both adults said simultaneously. Alexandra's phone buzzed, her new one, neither Blackwood corporate nor burner phone. Her father's latest message joined hundreds of others. Board meeting emergency session. Your trust fund access terminated. Think about what you're throwing away. She deleted it without reading the rest. Let them keep their money. She had something better, but the world wouldn't let them hide. The construction site had to hire security to keep reporters away. Parents at school whispered and pointed. Barbara Cooper's lawyers added media exploitation of a minor to their custody filing. We could leave, Alexandra suggested one evening. I have enough saved under Alex Martinez. We could start over somewhere quiet. Running again. Marcus touched her cheek. That's not you anymore. No, she leaned into his hand. Sometimes I don't know who I am, Alexandra or Alex, Blackwood or Martinez. You're both and neither. He pulled her close. You're just you, the woman who color codes Lily's homework schedule and knows way too much about load-bearing walls. A notification. Pinged. Another viral moment. Someone had dug up security footage from the fire. Marcus running in. Alexandra guiding them out through smoke. Their first meeting broadcast for strangers to dissect. Look at us. Alexandra watched their past selves. We didn't know anything about each other then. I knew enough. Marcus studied the grainy footage. I knew you were brave, knew you thought about others first. You kept warning me about structural damage while we escaped. Occupational hazard of being a secret real estate mogul. See? That's what they don't get. He gestured at the media circus outside. You're not some princess playing peasant. You're a brilliant woman who chose to be herself. A rock shattered their window. Marcus moved fast, shielding Lily as glass sprayed across the living room. Alexandra caught a glimpse of the projectile, a business magazine with her face on. It wrapped around the stone. Gold diggers and grave robbers, screamed the headline, implying she was somehow taking advantage of Marcus's widower status. Lily started crying. Marcus called police. Alexandra got angry. She marched outside, facing the photographers. You want a story? Here's your story. I'm Alexandra Blackwood. Yes, I ran from an arranged marriage. Yes, I chose to teach art, and yes, I fell in love with a wonderful man and his amazing daughter. Take all the pictures you want of me, but leave them alone. Flashbulbs exploded. Questions shouted over each other. She stood her ground. One more thing. She pulled out her phone, dialing live. Father, I know you're watching. The press conference is back on tomorrow morning, but I'm doing it my way. She ended the call, turned back to the house. Through the broken window, she saw Marcus holding Lily, both watching her with a mixture of pride and concern. I'm done hiding, she told them, stepping through glass shards. But I need you to be sure. This won't be easy. Nothing worth having is. Marcus kissed her softly. Lily tugged her hand. Can I come to the press thing too? Alexandra knelt to eye level. You know how you sometimes mess up an art project, but instead of throwing it away, you turn it into something new and better. Lily nodded. That's what we're doing, taking all the messy parts and making something beautiful. She looked up at Marcus. Together, outside, cameras continued flashing. Tomorrow would bring more headlines, more chaos. But tonight, they swept up broken glass and made dinner and helped with homework. Real life, lived in the open, at last. The viral video hit 15 million views by midnight, but they didn't watch it. They were too busy living it. The Blackwood Enterprises conference room fell silent as Alexandra placed her proposal on the gleaming table. Not Alexandra Blackwood, heiress, or Alex Martinez, art teacher, but someone new, someone who combined the best of both. Community Development Initiative? Her father read the cover skeptically. This is your big plan. Look at the numbers. She pulled up the projections. Our real estate division is stagnating. Luxury developments aren't selling. But affordable housing, mixed-use community spaces, that's where the real growth is. And I suppose your construction worker gave you this idea? The disdain in his voice was palpable. Marcus showed me what real communities need, but these projections? She tapped the screen. That's pure Blackwood training. You taught me to spot opportunities, father. This is one. Meanwhile, across town, Marcus stood before the school board. Barbara Cooper and her lawyers sat in the front row, smirking. Mr. Taylor, the chairman began, given the recent media attention, Marcus interrupted, I'd like to propose something. He unrolled blueprints, his own proposal. A new arts and activity center, attached to the school, safe space for kids with working parents. Barbara's smirk faltered. The construction company I work for has pledged materials at cost. Local businesses are offering support. He met Barbara's eyes. Because community matters, family matters, and sometimes that means building something new instead of tearing things down. Back in the Blackwood offices, Alexandra was gaining ground. The profit margins, began one board member, are sustainable, she finished, unlike the Porter merger, which would have meant layoffs and asset stripping. James Porter hasn't built anything in his life. Alexandra stood, commanding the room like she'd been taught since childhood. I have a better partner in mind, someone who understands both construction and community. Her father's eyes narrowed. You can't be serious. Taylor Construction is small but respected. The community center project is already gaining attention. Imagine the headlines. Blackwood Enterprises partners with local success story. It's a publicity stunt. Someone scoffed. It's the future. Alexandra brought up more slides. Millennials aren't buying luxury condos. They want sustainable communities, green spaces, schools within walking distance. Marcus's company gets this. They're already doing it, just on a smaller scale. And your personal relationship? Her father's voice dripped acid. The board should just ignore that? Alexandra smiled. The board should capitalize on it. Blackwood heiress finds love and new business model. We're trending anyway. Let's make it work for us. Across town, Marcus was winning his own battle. The media attention could benefit the school, the principal admitted, and this activity center would solve the after-school care issue for dozens of working parents, Marcus finished, including me. Barbara stood. This doesn't change the custody situation. Actually, Marcus pulled out one last document. It does. Because I'm not just the contractor. I'm going to run the center, regular hours, safe environment right next to Lily's school. The principal beamed. Barbara sat down hard. In the Blackwood offices, Alexandra delivered her final punch. We have two choices. She faced the board. We can fight this publicly. The controlling family, the arranged merger, all of it exposed. Or, she gestured at her proposal, we can be the visionaries who saw the future of urban development, who partnered with local businesses, who put community first. Her father studied her for a long moment. She held his gaze, letting him see both the daughter he'd trained and the woman she'd become. Finally, he smiled. A real smile, perhaps. His first in years. You really love him. I really love what we can build together. She touched the proposal. All of us. Her phone buzzed. Marcus sending a photo of approved blueprints and a simple message. We did it. Alexandra looked at her father. Well, he picked up her proposal, weighing more than just the paper. When can he start? We start, she corrected. Together. Outside, reporters still waited. Questions about scandal and society would still come, but now they had answers, real ones, about building things that mattered. Alexandra gathered her papers, including the proposal that would change everything. Time to meet Marcus, pick up Lily, have a family dinner. Time to live the life she'd chosen. Both lives she'd chosen, finally merged into one truth. Her father called after her, "Alexandra." She turned. "You built something good here." He gestured at the proposal. "Your mother would be proud." She smiled. "I learned from the best." Both families. Lily's birthday invitation lay on Alexandra's desk, a handmade card covered in glitter and hope. "You're invited to my best birthday ever," declared wobbly letters. Theme: art and building things, like Daddy and Alex do. The guest list made Alexandra smile. Lily's classmates, construction site workers' families, Barbara and her husband, and, written in Marcus's careful hand, the Blackwoods. "Your father actually RSVP'd, Marcus said, entering her new office. The space balanced both her worlds, modern design with children's artwork on the walls, business awards beside Lily's crafts. "He did?" Alexandra looked up surprised. "Said something about market research for the community center project." Marcus grinned. "Pretty sure that's billionaire speak for I want to meet my granddaughter." "She's not." Alexandra stopped. Wasn't she, though? These past weeks since the proposal's approval had created something new, something family-shaped. Lily's been practicing calling him Mr. Blackwood all week. Marcus perched on her desk, though she thinks he lives in a castle. Close enough. Alexandra touched the invitation. "Are you sure about this? Mixing everyone together. Too late to back out. Mike's bringing his famous chili, your father's sending some fancy cake, and Barbara..." He paused. "Barbara's actually being civil, asked if she could help decorate. The party would be at the construction site of their new community center, Lily's idea. Because it's where both your jobs are making something amazing." Alexandra checked her watch. "Speaking of which, the contractors need final approval on the arts wing. Already handled." Marcus spread out the latest blueprints. "I had some ideas about the layout." She studied his suggestions, impressed. He'd been learning the development side as quickly as she'd learned about hands-on construction. True partnership, her father had admitted grudgingly. The day of the party dawned bright. Alexandra arrived early to find Barbara Cooper hanging streamers beside a construction worker's wife. Her father's driver unloaded catering while Mike stirred his chili, worlds colliding, but somehow not breaking. "Alex!" Lily barreled into her. "Look what Grandma Barbara helped me make." A banner stretched across the unfinished community center entrance. "Welcome to Lily's building party." Painted handprints formed a rainbow border. Small ones from her classmates, larger ones from the construction crew, and perfectly manicured ones that had to be Barbara's. Beautiful. Alexandra blinked back tears. "There's space for more hands." Lily said carefully, "If Mr. Blackwood wants to..." Alexandra's father emerged from his town car, looking utterly out of place and completely determined. "I brought paint," he announced, holding up professionally cleaned hands. The party became something magical. Children explored the safe areas of the construction site wearing tiny hard hats. Barbara and Alexandra's father discovered a shared passion for architecture. Mike's chili won over even the Blackwood private chef. Marcus found Alexandra watching it all from a quiet corner. "Penny, for your thoughts?" He handed her a juice box. Lily had insisted on them for everyone, even the billionaires. "Look at this." She gestured at the scene. "My father's learning the electric slide from your crew's families. Barbara's teaching Lily's friends about art history. It's real?" He squeezed her hand. "Like us?" Before she could answer, Lily called everyone for cake. But this wasn't the elegant creation her father had ordered. Instead, it was homemade, lopsided and perfect. "Alex helped me make it," Lily announced proudly. "And Daddy did the frosting, and Grandma Barbara did the decorations, and Mr. Blackwood..." She beamed at him. "You can put the candles on." Alexandra watched her father, who had probably never handled birthday candles in his life, carefully placed 9 of them in the exact pattern Lily directed. "Wait!" Lily ran to the banner. "We need your handprint first to make it official." "Official?" Her father raised an eyebrow. "That's your family too." Lily held out the paint. "If you want to be." The room held its breath. Alexandra felt Marcus's arm around her waist, steadying her. Her father looked at the banner, at the mixed prints of 2 families becoming something new. Then he rolled up his sleeve, dipped his hand in paint, and pressed it carefully beside Barbara's. "Perfect!" Lily hugged him, leaving a glitter and frosting print on his custom suit. To everyone's shock, he hugged her back. "Happy birthday, my dear." He looked at Alexandra over Lily's head. "Thank you for inviting me to be part of this." "Cake time!" Lily bounced away. "Alex, you cut it. You're good at making sure things are exactly equal." Alexandra picked up the knife, looking at the faces around her. Marcus and his crew, her, father and his driver, Barbara and the school moms. 2 worlds finally meeting in the middle. Equal pieces, she promised. Everyone gets the same. Just like family should be. The construction company documents spread across their kitchen table told a story of transformation. Marcus studied the new letterhead. Taylor and Blackwood Community Development. Not a takeover, not a buyout, but a true merger of equals. "The lawyers finished the paperwork this morning," Alexandra said, setting down 2 coffee mugs, the cheap diner ones they both preferred over her father's bone china. "You're officially CEO of the construction division." Fancy title for a guy who still likes getting his hands dirty. Marcus traced the embossed logo. "You sure about this?" "About making my brilliant partner's company the cornerstone of our community development initiative." She sat beside him. "I'd call that good business sense." They'd found their rhythm over the past months. Alexandra's corporate expertise combined with Marcus's ground-level knowledge created projects that worked in the real world. The community, the center was nearly complete, already being hailed as a model for future developments. "Barbara called," Marcus said carefully, "about the custody arrangement." Alexandra tensed. Despite the birthday party breakthrough, legal battles had continued. "She wants to drop the case." He smiled at Alexandra's shock. "Says Lily's thriving. Her grades are up. She's making more friends, and apparently having a stepmother who revolutionizes. Urban development while teaching art is acceptable." "Stepmother." Alexandra's heart skipped. "Getting ahead of myself?" He reached for her hand. "Or getting ahead of you?" Before she could answer, Lily burst in from the backyard, covered in paint. "Look what I made for the center's opening." She proudly displayed a canvas showing 3 figures in front of a building. One in a construction hat, one in a business suit holding art supplies, and a small one in the middle holding both their hands. "It's us," she explained unnecessarily. "Being a family." Alexandra touched the still wet paint. "It's perfect for the main entrance." "Really?" Lily bounced. "Daddy, can we hang it next to the boring business stuff?" "Nothing boring about building something that matters," Marcus said. But he was watching Alexandra's face. "Right? Right." She hugged Lily, not caring about paint stains. "Why don't you go clean up? We'll have dinner soon." Once Lily left, Marcus pulled out one more document. Speaking of building things that matter, Alexandra recognized her. "Father's lawyer's letterhead." "What's this?" "Your father came to see me at the site yesterday. Said if I was going to run his daughter's company and raise his granddaughter, we should make it official. He's not subtle." Alexandra read the paper, a draft announcement of their engagement, already approved by the board. "I can't believe he did this." "He didn't." Marcus knelt beside her chair. "I asked him for permission. Old-fashioned, I know, but..." He pulled out a small box. "Some traditions are worth keeping." The ring wasn't the Blackwood family diamond. Instead, it was a simple band with a small stone, bought with a construction worker's savings, not a corporate account. "I love you," he said simply. "The real you. Both versions. All versions. Marry me." Alexandra looked at their life spread. Across the kitchen, business documents and finger paintings, coffee mugs and contracts, love built on truth instead of expectations. "Yes," she said, "but I have one condition." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "We get married at the community center. Hard hats optional." He laughed and slipped the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly, like everything else they'd built together. "Can I come back in now?" Lily called from the hallway. "Did she say yes?" "You knew about this." Alexandra opened her arms as Lily ran in. "Daddy let me help pick the ring, and Grandpa Blackwood helped me get paint for my picture, and Grandma Barbara's going to help me pick a flower girl dress, and—" Alexandra held her family close, breathing, in paint and sawdust and love. Outside, the city was changing, their projects replacing cold developments with living communities. Inside, they had built something even better, a home where all versions of themselves could live in truth. The house keys jingled in Alexandra's hand as they stood on the sidewalk, staring up at their new home. Not a penthouse, not a modest apartment, but something in between, a renovated brownstone with good bones and better memories. "It's right where we first met," Lily observed, pointing to the rebuilt house next door, "where Daddy saved you from the fire." "Seemed fitting," Marcus said. "Plus, it's walking distance to both the school and the community center." Alexandra smiled at his practical reasoning, but she knew the truth. They'd both felt it when they first toured the property, the sense of coming full circle, of building something new from the ashes of the past. "Can I show Alex my room?" Lily bounced on her toes. "I already know exactly where all my art stuff will go." "First," Marcus handed her a small box, "you get to do the honors." Inside was a brass number, plate 224, their new address. "Because this is our forever home?" Lily asked, running her fingers over the numbers. "That's right, sweetheart." Alexandra helped her line it up. "Want to screw it in together?" As they worked, a familiar town car pulled up. Alexandra's father emerged, carrying what looked suspiciously like a housewarming gift. "I was in the neighborhood," he said, not very convincingly. "Thought I'd see how the move was going." "Grandpa!" Lily ran to hug him, no longer shy about the title. "Look what we did." He admired the number plate with appropriate gravity. "Excellent craftsmanship, though I still think the penthouse—" "Dad." Alexandra's warning tone held affection. Yes, I know." He straightened his tie. "Independence, real life, though I did bring something practical." The practical gift turned out to be a complete set of professional-grade art supplies for Lily's new studio space. Alexandra caught Marcus, hiding a smile. Her father's version of practical had certainly evolved. They spent the afternoon moving in, creating order from chaos. Barbara stopped by with sandwiches, staying to help organize the kitchen. Mike and the construction crew handled the heavy lifting, turning it into an impromptu housewarming party. "Living room's done," Marcus announced, finding Alexandra in what would be their home office, "though your father's trying to convince Lily that every 9-year-old needs a chandelier." "Let him spoil her a little." She wrapped her arms around his waist. "He's making up for lost time with both of us." Through the window, they could see their families mingling in the backyard, Barbara showing Lily's friends the garden possibilities. Alexandra's father learning about grilling from Mike. Their worlds finally and fully merged. "Remember when you thought you had to choose?" Marcus asked softly. "Between being Alexandra Blackwood and Alex Martinez?" She thought about the scared woman who'd hidden behind false names, who'd thought love meant leaving everything behind. "I was wrong," she said. "Sometimes you don't have to choose. Sometimes you just have to be brave enough to build something new." Speaking of building, he pulled out blueprints, his latest design for the community center's second phase. "What do you think about adding a rooftop garden? Lily's art class could use it for inspiration, and it fits our green initiative." Alexandra studied the plans, adding her own notes. This was their new normal. Business and family, art and construction, love and work all flowing together. "Perfect," she said, "though we should run it by our junior creative director." They found Lily in her new room, already covering one wall with a mural. Their fathers, both of them, were holding her steady on a stepladder while she worked. "Careful with those paint drips, Princess," Marcus called. "I am," Lily added another swirl of color. "I'm painting our story. See? There's the fire, and the coffee shop, and the community center, and our new house." Alexandra watched her daughter, their daughter, telling their family's story in art. The truth was, they're in every brushstroke. Sometimes love means building something no one has seen before. Sometimes home is a place you have to create yourself. The modified firefighter's helmet gleamed under the community center's lights, its surface transformed into a work of art. Lily had painted it with scenes from their story. The burning house, the coffee shop, the construction site, all flowing together in a child's vision of love. "You really think this will work?" Mike adjusted the display case, making sure the helmet was perfectly centered. "It has to." Marcus checked his watch. "Alexandra's finishing the final walkthrough with the investors. Lily?" "Ready?" His daughter emerged in a miniature hard hat decorated with flowers. "I memorized everything. The community center's grand opening was tomorrow, but tonight was just for them." Marcus had planned everything carefully, with help from both families. Even Alexandra's father had contributed, though he still didn't quite understand why his daughter would prefer a proposal here instead of at the plaza. "She's coming!" Barbara called from her lookout position. "Everyone in place!" Alexandra walked down the main hall, reviewing notes on her tablet. "Marcus, the investors loved the art program integration, but I think we should—" She stopped, seeing the helmet in its case. "What's this?" "Welcome to the tour." Lily stepped forward officially. "Today we're exploring the history of the Taylor Blackwood Community Center." Alexandra raised an eyebrow, but played along. "Lead the way, tour guide." Lily led them through the building, but not the way Alexandra expected. Instead of focusing on facilities and programs, her daughter told their story. "This is where Daddy first showed Alex his construction plans," Lily announced in the conference room, "and where Alex taught him about investment stuff that I don't understand, but it made Grandpa happy." In the art room, "This is where Alex helped me paint my first real picture, and where Daddy learned that art class rules aren't just suggestions." Each stop featured a small memento: the coffee shop receipt in the cafe, Lily's volcano project in the science lab, the original community center blueprints in the architecture room. Finally, they reached the main entrance, where the helmet waited. "And this," Lily declared, "is the most important artifact of all, because it's about how our family started." Marcus stepped forward, taking the helmet from its case. "I was wearing one like this the day we met, the day that changed everything." "Marcus," Alexandra touched the painted scenes. "I ran into a burning building that day, thinking I was just doing my job." He turned the helmet, showing her each moment Lily had captured. "I didn't know I was running toward my future, toward love." From hidden spots around the lobby, their families emerged. Mike and his crew, Barbara and her husband. Alexandra's father, trying very hard to look like he wasn't emotional. "The thing about being a builder," Marcus continued, "is that you learn every great structure needs a strong foundation. And every day since that fire, we've been building ours. Through truth and lies, through revelations and reconciliations, through art classes and board meetings." He knelt, but instead of a ring box, he held up the helmet. "Alexandra Blackwood, who became Alex Martinez, who became yourself. Will you keep building this life with me? Will you marry me?" "But you already proposed," she said, confused. "We're already engaged." "That was the business proposal, the practical one." He smiled. "This is the real one. The one where I tell you that I fall more in love with you every day, that I want to build forever with you, that our daughter needs her art teacher mum to make it official." "Please," Lily added. "I already designed the wedding invitations." Alexandra looked around, at their families united, at the center they'd built together, at the helmet that told their story in paint and memory. at the man kneeling before her, offering not diamonds and empires, but hard work and real love. "Yes," she said, "yes to building forever, yes to making it official, yes to everything." He stood and kissed her as their families cheered. Lily rushed to hug them both. "Now can I show her my invitation designs?" she asked eagerly. "Actually," Marcus nodded to Mike, who opened the center's main doors. Outside, the evening sky filled with fireworks, courtesy of Alexandra's father, who had insisted on contributing. Something appropriately grand. "Really, Dad?" Alexandra laughed. "What?" He straightened his tie. "Can't I celebrate my daughter's second engagement properly?" They watched the fireworks together, their unusual family united under the sparkling sky. The helmets' painted scenes glowed in the light, their past, present and future captured in a child's art on a firefighter's gear. "Perfect proposal," Marcus whispered. Alexandra touched the helmet, then his cheek. "No, perfect everything." The family portrait hung in the community center's main hall, catching morning light through the rooftop garden's skylights. Not a formal oil painting like the ones in Blackwood Enterprises' boardroom, but a candid photo from their wedding day. Alexandra in a simple white dress, Marcus in his best suit with a construction pencil still tucked behind his ear, and Lily between them, beaming in her paint-splattered flower girl dress. "First anniversary party in an hour," Mike called from the lobby. "Though I still say you two are the only people who'd celebrate by opening another community center." Alexandra smiled, adjusting the frame. "Why break tradition? We fell in love building the first one. The past year had transformed more than just their lives. Taylor and Blackwood Community Development had opened centers in 3 other cities. Their model of combining practical facilities with arts and education was being studied nationwide. Even Barbara had joined the cause, running senior art therapy programs that filled the centers with laughter and life. "Mom!" Lily ran in, her own hard hat firmly in place. "The art installation's ready." At 10, Lily had appointed herself chief creative consultant for all their projects. Today's reveal was especially important. She'd coordinated a massive collaborative piece featuring artwork from every program at their centers. "Coming, sweetheart." Alexandra checked her phone, a message from Marcus. "Running late. Your father insisted on reviewing the Shanghai proposal himself, but I wouldn't miss this for anything." Her father had surprised everyone by embracing their vision, though he still occasionally suggested minor improvements like marble floors or gold fixtures. Today, he was actually flying in for the celebration, having finally learned that real value wasn't always measured in luxury. "Alex!" a small voice called. 6-year-old Tommy from her Tuesday art class tugged her sleeve. "Can we show you our surprise?" She followed him to the children's gallery, where her students had created their own version of the family portrait. Dozens of drawings showed the center's extended family. Construction workers teaching kids about building, senior artists sharing techniques, parents learning new skills alongside their children. "It's everyone who makes this place special," Tommy explained seriously. Alexandra blinked back tears. "It's perfect." "Tears already?" Marcus's arm slipped around her waist. "Save some for when your father presents his anniversary gift. Hint, it's definitely too expensive and probably involves rare marble. You're late." But she leaned into him, breathing in sawdust and coffee and home. "Had to pick something up." He nodded toward the entrance, where a familiar figure stood uncertainly. "James." Alexandra recognized her former almost fiancé. "What are you doing here?" James Porter looked different, more human somehow, less corporate. "I'm interested in your outreach program, the one helping small businesses integrate with community development." He smiled sheepishly. "Turns out there's more to life than mergers." Before Alexandra could respond, Lily burst in. "Everyone's here. Can we do the reveal now?" The main hall filled quickly. Program participants, staff, family and friends, all gathering to celebrate not just an anniversary, but a vision becoming reality. "Hard to believe it started with a fire," Barbara mused, standing beside Alexandra. "When I first heard about you two, I thought that I was running a con." Alexandra finished. That I'd hurt them? That you'd leave? Barbara squeezed her hand. I'm glad I was wrong. Alexandra's father clinked his glass for attention. A year ago, I thought my daughter was throwing away her future. Instead, she showed me what the future could be. He gestured at the crowded room. This is real success, real legacy, real family, Marcus added, pulling Alexandra and Lily close. The artwork was unveiled to gasps and applause, hundreds of pieces forming a mosaic of community, of lives intertwined and improved. Alexandra spotted familiar scenes. Her father, learning to paint with Lily, Barbara teaching dance to giggling toddlers, Mike's crew showing teens how to build benches for the garden. "Speech!" someone called. Alexandra looked at Marcus. Together, they stepped forward. "A year ago, we promised to build something lasting," she began. "Not just buildings," Marcus continued, "but connections. Not just programs," Alexandra added, "but possibilities. Not just centers," they finished together, "but communities." Lily rolled her eyes at their coordinated speech, but she was smiling. Everyone was. Later, after the celebrations wound down, they walked home together through streets that felt more alive, more connected than ever before. Their brownstone welcomed them with warmth and memories. "Happy anniversary," Marcus whispered, once Lily was asleep. Alexandra touched their wedding photo on the mantel. Happy everything. Outside, the city hummed with potential. Inside, their home held the peace of promises kept and dreams realized. They had built something rare and precious, a life where every version of themselves could thrive, where truth and love constructed the strongest foundation of all. The fire that brought them together had long since gone out, but what rose from those ashes would warm generations to come.